From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I'm Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you to this Friday's edition of For the People on a March the 15th, 2017. We wake up to some horrific news out of New Zealand. 49 dead this morning, 49 people mowed down. A racist panic, just mayhem. Worshippers in New Zealand, they were in a mosque. Suspect apparently was getting off with a GoPro and filmed the whole thing. And very, very gruesome, but it really looked like a video game. It really looked like somebody was just getting off, having fun. But this guy did not like, apparently, Muslims assembling in a mosque in New Zealand. And he's Austrian. He's from Australia. He doesn't like foreigners in New Zealand. There's a difference between people in Australia and New Zealand, in case you didn't know that. Apparently, he didn't know that. But it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with this. White supremacy. And unfortunately, took all those lives and injured so many. We pray for those folks in New Zealand today. We usually are topical on For the People, and we usually try to bring some humanity into some of the news stories because, unfortunately, they're headlines today. And like so many people that are on video games, they become desensitized, and that was one of the discussions on CBS on the morning show. And I do like CBS News. I like Fox News Channel, but CBS seems to be relatively what I would call as balanced as you can get. Believe it or not, CBS, and then their streaming channel online is very, very good. Sad massacre. Please pray for the people of New Zealand. Prime Minister, heavy heart, what they've gone through, and with earthquakes over there, it's just terrible. All right, the reason we're taking to the airwaves real briefly is I would like to dedicate most of this time to our GoFundMe page. If you go to GoFundMe.com, type in For the People, you want to look for the People, us online. That's where we're actually concentrating our online initiative to raise the money to get us back on the air. For the People had to go off the air probably about 4 or 5 months ago due to a financial decision because I was running my own business and trying to keep the legacy broadcast alive, which I did for close to 5 years on my own financially, and it was just a drain. Even though I had supporters giving $25 here and there and $10 and some donations, it just wasn't enough. So I got thinking, National Public Radio has 2 fundraisers. Christian radio stations do it all the time. Now, their budgets are, $300,000, $400,000. Ours is $12,000 a year. All right, that's not a lot of money. But if you don't have a lot of money, give $1, give it $2. But I want you to show some love today. So we're going to play some music here. And I'm asking you to go right now before you forget. If everybody that views this video today gives a little something, we're going to be able to get that number up. Because right now, somebody gave an extra, $5 yesterday? If everybody gave $5, imagine that. Right? We'd be at the $700-800 mark. We'd be at $1,000 just like that. If you can give more, let's see what we can do. It's Secure Online, and Megan in Michigan, our office manager, and a true patriot. She's watching those numbers too, and we'll report it back to you as those numbers come in. But you can go to GoFundMe.com. You can type in Keith Allen, A-L-A-N, or For the People, and just look for the For the People flag with my name on it, Keith Allen. And you can read about our initiative and the things that we're going to do. what people are saying around the country about this broadcast and what it has meant. We are more than just a radio show. So many people, they try to get on the air and it's just a hobby and it's just something fun. This is more than just a hobby or a passion. This is what I've been meant to do since I was probably 6 years old. You can ask my mother and the networks that I've worked with, from Salem Radio Network to iHeartMedia, from Beasley Broadcasting to Bonneville. I started in New York City at WMCA, where Alan Combs got his start, and Sean Hannity and Larry King. He was there doing a radio show on WMCA. It was a very good talk station back in the 80s next to WABC, WNBC. If you're going to get into radio, that's the place to actually begin your career, is New York City. We're based out of Tampa, Florida. However, For the People has been heard coast to coast, and we have radio stations that say we're going to pick you back up the immediate launch. Once we launch that, they'll be back on. And this is the dedication to so many people that have been fans and understand that this radio show cares about our country, the direction of our country. And we do love the people. And I think For the People is very appropriately named because we don't take any party affiliation. We are conservative by nature, but if the Dems are wrong or the Republicans are wrong or the Tea Parties are wrong, whoever's wrong, we're going to call them on the carpet. So we're not going to just take Trump's side just because it's Donald Trump in the White House. If he screws up, we're going to report on it. And yesterday was case in point. So if you listen to the shows in entirety, you can get a broader perspective of where I stand. I come from a Judeo-Christian background, but I'm not a Islamophobe or anything like that. I am open to all religions and to hear everybody out from where they come from, whether they're LGBTQ or they're straight. Doesn't matter. Human beings are human beings. And this thing in New Zealand that took place, it should never take place. But unfortunately, hatred does exist out there. We become a lot more isolated. I think in electronics, people are not talking as they should. And I think talk radio is more important than ever to get people involved with the process, talking these things out, trying to put a human face on problems rather than just burying yourself on the internet and being done with it. It's very therapeutic. You can ask psychologists and psychiatrists, having conversations with one another, water cooler discussions, taking it home, talking about these things really helps decompress. And also, it helps you get involved with the process, too, with electing the right people into office. And that's a process. But knowing each candidate, that's something that we pride ourselves in, is that we'll give specific information about their accomplishments and their non-accomplishments. So you can make an intelligent, informed decision before you go to the ballot box. And that's very, very important for politics. For the People talks about health. We talk about travel. We talk about UFOs. We talk about conspiracy theories within reason. We're not talking about Alex Jones style. That's not my stick. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. We have common sense. Does the government tell us everything? No. I mean, what government's going to tell you everything? Obama is going to be the most transparent president in White House history. Come on. He was not. So many people say these things, that they're going to do these things. When they come to Washington, they realize that not everything is necessarily black and white. But we try to break it down, whether you have a PhD or a GED or non-GED. We're for the common folk and for the educated. There's something for everybody there, no matter who you are, what walk of life you are, whether you're old, whether you're young. We try to tap in to what's going on around the nation and around the world. That's the amazing thing about the internet and Facebook, is that this thing travels the planet. We hear from people from all over the planet. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear some folks on Facebook today from New Zealand thanking us for the prayers, thanking us for reporting on the tragedy that happened there, which is a tragedy. Very, very, very sad. We've had our own series of tragedies, and that is a big conversation, whether we lock everybody up that has guns, take the guns away, better gun control. There's no easy answers. The bottom line is, I believe that guns don't kill people. It's people that kill people. And that's really the bottom line. How to keep guns away from people that are loose cannons. That's a tough thing. They grab somebody else's gun if they can't get a gun, or they buy it on the market from somebody that's selling guns. It's really tough. California's got some of the toughest gun legislation laws on the books, and yet there's problem after problem out there, regardless of how tough these laws are. Case in point, I think we just have to do a better job, literally, families. And that's a story where I believe that more families are broken up and there's not enough accountability. People just let people go AWOL. They sense there's something wrong, sinister about the individual, and we find this case after case with friends where this person has talked, and we'll find out more about this individual, this young 21-year-old from New Zealand, why he did it, who he talked to, and there's a couple other women that have been apprehended, and they know something, and his friends might know something, but anybody that knew something, possibly that this guy was going to go crazy, they're going to be locked up too. But they have blood on their hands. 49 dead. We've had our own massacres, but it brings back the evil that lurks out there, and it's sad that it repeats itself. No matter if it's in the United States or New Zealand or China, wherever it is, there's people that are going to have that evil heart and that way of thinking. So, if anything, what we try to do is again bring some more humanity in a digital age, which I think people get lost in the minutia. There's so much news out there. There's so many talking heads and personalities out there, and I just wonder how connected are they really to the story? How does it really affect them? Does it really mean anything to them, or is it just a show? And I trust that if you've been a long-time listener, you know that I have a heart, I care, I have a family, I have 3 daughters, I'm married for 17 years, and I grew up in a dysfunctional family. We all got scattered in foster homes, and I'm glad that I have a family of my own. Some people don't have families. And it was rough growing up. But the bottom line is, I'm not going out and shooting people. I'm not terrorizing the neighborhood. We had a gentleman who shot a couple women about 4 or 5 blocks down from my studio in Town and Country. You can read this online in Tampa, Florida. Yesterday, had a helicopter hovering in my studio for hours. SWAT teams. It was crazy. They sent a robot into the house. Hours later, the guy killed himself. The women are alive, but wounded, and they're expected to make a full recovery, luckily, but definitely terrorized the neighborhood. What was going through the guy's mind, we don't know. But it was a very sad ending. And, it shook up a lot of people in the neighborhood. I was wondering, what the heck's going on? Where did I go? The internet. And a little thing called Patch News. And then Fox 13, our local affiliate, had the scoop with some immediate details of what was going down. So quickly I realized that it was a fluid situation. But praying for those ladies and the community here in Tampa, even as we pray for people in New Zealand. I appreciate so many of you that have tuned into this broadcast, have tried to figure out what the broadcast is about and where we're going and why we should support this initiative for the people on radio and on the internet, on Facebook. And we're still trying to determine whether or not we'd like to hear from you, some feedback. If you think that this is a good platform daily, Monday through Friday, on Facebook to stream live so you can actually see the radio show host. I think it's a little distracting. I might feel a little awkward if I'm reading some small print and I might have to put my readers on. Ooh. Do they look sexy? I can't worry about things like that, so I'm going to have to kind of get used to the whole thing. But if you like it, let me know. Please sound off right now while you're on. Let me know if you like the video or if you want to stick to Spreaker in a stream or a podcast. We can do both. But if you like the video element, you like to watch me, my facial reactions and contortions and strangeness, then sound off and let me know here on Facebook. No matter who you are, just let me know what your opinion, because your opinion matters, and especially if you're considering supporting the show. And speaking of, slow down, supporting the show, you can go to GoFundMe.com right now. GoFundMe.com and make a donation. Minimal $1, okay? Because I think that's the minimal donation. You can't give a quarter, but $1, and you can go up as high as you want. Our goal, $12,000. That's an entire year's budget right now. Budgets might change, but that's a shoestring budget to keep us on for a year minimal. And then and the year passes, we'll do another fundraiser, but we'll advertise in between. And we might do it every 6 months. So it's, it's not as difficult to obtain. So, but let's get to the halfway mark. Let's get to at least 6,000. Let's look at the 6 month mark. Right now, we're not even at an entire month's budget, but we can make it a little over $500 right now. GoFundMe.com. Type in Keith Allen or For the People. Allen's ALAN. Keith, KEITH. And you can see what people are saying, see the people that have given. One lady, $300, but we have $25 donations, $10, $5, dollar donations. It all adds up. And you can be anonymous. If you don't want to give your name there on GoFundMe, then you don't even have to say who you are. We have a couple anonymous people that didn't want to give their name, and that's fine. If you just want to be an incognito, and that's okay. It's acceptable here. Sometimes incognito is a good idea. It's not just the celebrities in Hollywood that do it. You can do it too. So I appreciate you sincerely, but I can't do this alone, and I realized that I couldn't run For the People. Again, a legacy radio show that was started by Chuck Harder, and a man who just wanted to help people, educate people, inform people. And he started in 1977 and on 970 WFLA in the early 80s, went on there, and then the Sun Radio Network and the People's Radio Network. And I worked for Chuck in 1995. I gave up my job with Salem Radio Network, or Bot Radio Network at the time, out of Memphis. I was doing a afternoon drive show for 3 hours in my 20s, believe it or not, when I left New York. And that was cool. And then Chuck asked me through my dad to work for him as his production director. And I did a show back then called Cyber Talk Radio. Remember when the internet was discovered by Al Gore? Yeah, we did a show next to Kim Commando was doing a show. She might still be doing one, but we did a show, and we were on probably a couple hundred radio stations at the time, because it was just Kim Commando and us. There might have been some local stuff in your market that was talking about the internet, but people didn't think the internet was going to do anything. And look at it now. We're streaming live like we have our own TV station. And that's kind of remarkable. So talk radio has evolved to the TV circuit. So that's why we're really looking into Facebook and this consistent stream and bringing you information. Now, if you hold a conservative point of view, okay, if you're pro-life, we're pro-life. If you're pro-country, love the country, want to secure the country, want to do it in a practical way, a meaningful way, that everybody wins, no matter what the party is, then support For the People. I'm asking you to support it. If you love this country and want this country to have some conservative conscience, okay, because it seems like a lot of Dems that have gone very south have really left out the humanity part of it, and even common sense when it comes to security issues, when it comes to allowing people into our country that shouldn't be in our country, and bleeding us with no accountability. And you have to have accountability to become, and the only way that we're going to be able to sensibly balance our budget is we're going to have to watch what goes out. Listen, you know what goes out in your checkbook. You know what's in your bank account. You know what's on your credit card. Donald Trump knows that we're in a severe issue, and he's brought up some of the painful issues that people don't want to talk about, that past administrations passed down to other administrations. These are tough issues. These are hard things, but they have to be dealt with. And the only way that we're going to be able to deal with them is be aware of them, and then also hold our congressmen, our representatives accountable so they actually make the right decisions. And the next president of the United States deals with this in a very real, practical way. We can't just continue doing what we're doing. Socialism, that's what the left wants. That's where they're heading. That's what they want. That's not good for our country. It's definitely not good for the economy. Everybody on the same level. I understand in theory why that really is so appealing for everybody. Listen, I never got anything for free. I worked my behind off since I was 16 years old and been contributing since to Social Security. I believe people really need to earn their keep. one way or another. And I believe everybody has something to give, and everybody has capabilities, no matter how small or you think it is. God can use those talents and those gifts, and I want to use mine to be able to be on the radio 5 days a week with this broadcast, to be able to give you information that's going to enhance your thinking, to be able to promote some thinking and get you involved with various things that will help this country, help your community, and help your family in a practical way with all sorts of information that will be good for you. So if you have not gone to GoFundMe, please go right now to GoFundMe.com and make a donation, whether you're friends or family. Surprise me. $1, $5, $50, whatever you can give. I appreciate that, but I need your help more than ever to be able to get on the air as soon as possible. So Megan can go ahead and get the budget going. We can pay our vendors that are helping us stream and do all the things we need to do and advertise, get the message out, and help other people. We have an initiative, by the way, part of our charter for the people. It's called Pay It Forward, where we're going to help people all over the country. In your community, people that need help. So your donation is actually going to help people in addition to the broadcast, whether it's painting somebody's house, putting a wheelchair accessible ramp up that somebody needs something, helping a veteran, all sorts of things. And we'll let you know exactly who it is that we're helping. And that's just something that I feel like we need to do. We need to constantly be giving back, constantly paying it forward, and call it good karma. I just call it the right thing to do. Because, listen, someday you're going to need help, and I just believe helping others is just the right thing to do. And that's something that every one of us should actually be doing. And it really, to me, enriches your life, doesn't it? It just makes you feel better, and it really makes other people feel so much better, too. And a smile, it goes a long way. So if you haven't been to GoFundMe and see our page, Megan laid all this out in Michigan. That's where For the People's headquarters is located, as far as the office goes and all that activities. Megan, and you can email her directly. She's been on the show. We're going to have her back on a program and talk. She's working right now. She works at a veterinary office, and she does just a million things, but she's a very capable person, and she's going to keep us in order, keep us in check, and even keeping me in check. How is that possible? But Megan can do that. GoFundMe.com. Can you go there right now? GoFundMe.com, type in For the People, FOR, space, you get it, or Keith Allen, KEITH, space, ALAN, and help us get that number up. No matter what you can give, I really appreciate it. And you make a difference. This is your opportunity to make a real difference tangibly throughout America. Get us back on radio and get us streaming 5 days a week. And the show is 1 hour, okay? These are just small programs that we're putting together on Facebook to try to stimulate some conversation, but to get our broadcast back on the air. So it's an hour broadcast, eventually 2, as we progress through the airwaves across the country, coast to coast. But we're going to use every means possible through the internet, streaming, video, the airwaves, shortwave radio, whatever way we can get For the People out there, but we need your help to do it. I appreciate you listening, and pray for us as we will pray for you. We'd like to hear from you. Sound off now at forthepeopleshow.com or GoFundMe. Keith Allen, For the People, saying all the best. May God bless.